Coming up on this episode of the Mompreneur Show, I'm interviewing Renee Harris, a wife, a mother of 9 children, a homeschooler, and she owns an e-commerce store where she sells her handmade lotion bars. I'm Vicky, and this is the show that features amazing conversations with remarkable mompreneurs. Renee, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Vicky. It's fun to be here.
It's so good to have you. So Renee, can you please tell us your story from the very beginning? How are you already running a business, a handmade business, selling on an e-commerce site? And can you go way back when your husband was being laid off from HP? I really want our friends to hear the whole story.
Yeah, I'll go even a little bit before that because we did not start this as a business after he got laid off. That was something a year before he was laid off. Actually, I think it was 2 years before he was laid off. Because we homeschool our kids, and at the time, let's see, how many kids did we have at the time? I want to say 6 kids at the time. And I just wanted to have our older boys get involved in something that could be kind of a fun thing to do that would be a little bit business-like, entrepreneurial. But I had no experience, no idea what that would be. And I was driving down the street one day and noticed that they're going to start a farmer's market in our little town. And Vicky has actually, since we've met on Instagram, Vicky has come to see where we live. So we are we're way up in Northern California, kind of close to Oregon, and very small community, a couple thousand people in our town. So having a farmer's market here is not like a huge deal as far as, I don't have competition, but I didn't have a product. I didn't know what I would sell. I just thought, it'd be fun to do something at the farmer's market. And at the time I was doing a lot of bread baking for a family because it was a big money saver. And I thought I could bake bread and sell it at the farmer's market with my boys. That just in my mind thought that would be so cool, Then I ran into problem after problem with having to get approved, and it's not easy to sell food. It's totally not easy. And I thought, okay, I can rent a kitchen. Then I decided, no, that's not a good way to go because that means I'm over there doing the kitchen and the baking, and I'm not at home. I wanted something I can do from home. So, and a few months before that, I had started to make a product for my own skin that was helping my skin because I had all these issues with cracks and bleeding just from washing your hands, changing diapers all the time. When you bake bread by hand, I was using a Bosch mixer, but it's just like the salt saturates all the water out of your hands, and it's just cuts and stuff like that on my fingers were constant. So a few months before this farmer's market thing came up, I started making this hard lotion bar, and I found a recipe at some soap forum online, and it was so easy to make. And so I was just making that, and it made a huge difference in my skin in just a matter of days. So anyway, fast forward to the farmer's market, my bread ideas kept not working out because it was just too hard to try to figure out how to sell that. But I thought, well, I could try this lotion thing, but how am I going to explain that to people? Because people are used to pump lotions, and why would they want it? And, so I thought, well, let's just try it anyway. If we can figure out how to do the packaging and make it look nice and look professional, then maybe we can sell it. So we ended up doing that for the first summer. And I see it as my R&D. It was just that whole research and development for a few months. It's not like we made tons of money, but we would make enough money to put it back into our little business. My boys, who were 8 and 10 at the time, would get up early with me, and we would go and set up. And I loved the interaction. I just loved talking to people. And I'm really horrible at trying to sell people stuff in person. But I thought, this is my chance. I got to get out of my introverted self and be out there. And if I can actually sell something or just interact with people, find the right person that would need my product, then maybe I can actually be pretty good at this, So I just loved meeting all the people. They would come back the next week. And then I was pumped because people would say, hey, your product really helped. I brought my sister so she can try it out. Oh. And then this would kind of, week after week, the right people who it worked for would come back. And it was so exciting, like, wow, maybe I have something here. And it was just, I totally enjoyed that interaction. And then after a few months of that, we took it to another farmer's market, and that was way much, much bigger. It was harder to get into. And we did that for several months, and actually not, I would say 4 months or so. And after a while, it was just too much. It was waking up at 5 a.m. was just on Saturdays. It was just too much. I kind of decided I want to have my time at home back again.
Was it worth it? Was it worth it going out?
Oh, yes. In fact, I look back and think, how in the world did I was telling my husband, we always talk about like, how did I get up in the morning? But I was so driven that I loved what I was doing and I loved seeing people. And even if it was a really slow day, you interact with all the vendors and you learn things from the other vendors that you can apply. And I learned so much. I definitely, there was another lady who sold the same thing I was selling, but she sold that plus soap, plus deodorant, plus like a million things. And I'm like, oh, she's my competition. How can I compete? So I learned right away. Hers was kind of like not a spa. It's more like a everything, at her station. And at mine, I thought I have to find one thing that would target people, the right people. And that was to say, this is for dry skin. If you don't have dry skin, go somewhere else, basically. So it's dry, chapped lips, dry skin. And so instead of just being a product that would, like a lotion can hit anybody, I could just say, well, hey, try my cool pump lotion. They'll never come back because they can buy it at the store. But saying this is the best thing for your dry skin and it will fix your cracks in your fingers. All of a sudden, I got mechanics coming. I've got chefs coming. I got old men coming. And then I learned, if I have samples out where they can try the samples, then it's fun. I would give them a sample. They would walk away. And then all of a sudden they're like turning around and they're coming right back to say, can I try, can I ask you some more questions about that? And they end up buying. So it was like things like that would really pump me up and get excited about going every Saturday, even though it was early in the morning. And then watching my sons interact was great because they were my sample guys. So I said, okay, you guys go out and just pass things out. And one son who was very more gregarious, he would go up, and this one guy, we also said this, by the way, is a natural product, but it's also edible. So it's so safe for your skin. You can eat it because all the ingredients in it are edible too. Wow. And not that you want to go out and eat beeswax, but it's not going to kill you if you eat it. So the kids would go out, and this one grumpy guy goes, yeah. So he told my 8-year-old, so you ever ate your mom's lotion before? And so he pretty much challenged my son to eat it to prove that it's edible. Oh my! He did it. My son would do it. So, yeah, but it doesn't taste good. Yeah. So it was fun because my kids learned a lot from that, and that was my biggest thing was, yes, this is totally for me, but if it's something that I can include my kids in or my family somehow, all the better.
Exactly.
So that was our farmer's market experience. And I know that's a long story. So to quickly get to the layoff part, then about 6 months later, I was ready to take it online and say, you know what, I had learned some HTML coding stuff way in the past, not, nothing great, but I knew a little bit enough to get me in trouble on as far as like mess up my own website, that type of thing. But anyway, back then I used Squarespace, which is really popular. It's a great way to start. So I used Squarespace back then. I could still know enough code to put things where I wanted it to be. And I started the e-commerce site. And I thought, oh yes, this is going to be perfect because now people will come to my site. Obviously that does not happen. You can't just put up a site and hope people come. So I had to go my advertisers. And that's when I started to work with my first blogger who had an audience, things started to take off. And then I realized all I have to do is find more influencers in the form of bloggers, or at the time it was bloggers. And I just started one after another. I got my product out there by having them, if they liked it, I would send it to them. They try it out. If they liked it and they could introduce it to their audience, then they would do that. And that's when things really started to take off. And then when we were, it was November, this was about a year later, November, I had my baby, my 8th child. And that's when we found out that my husband was getting laid off that year from Hewlett-Packard, and he was able to work from home. So, it was not that it was a dream job for him. He was frustrated with it, but still being able to have your husband work from home was great, especially for us and having a lot of kids. So when he got laid off, we decided we either have to move closer to somewhere like the Bay Area and compete with everybody else that's getting laid off, or if we wanted to stay where we lived, we were going to try and make it happen here. And then that's when we just kind of put all of our energies into the business, and we were able to get up to what his income was within a couple of years. So it was really an answer to prayer and a ton of hard work, but because we're all involved in it, and my husband is totally taking over a lot more of the homeschooling, and that's a whole nother story, but that's helped out a lot too. So it's been wonderful for us to be able to make this into something that we didn't expect, but it's something that I think we always wanted, but didn't know that we wanted it. If that makes any sense.
Very interesting. So you mentioned one of the ways that you got the word out is by going to those farmers markets, right?
Yeah.
And then reaching out to bloggers. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, I think what I was doing was as a mom, I was subscribed to different blogs that I enjoyed reading. And this is back, this is like 7 years ago when a lot of mom bloggers were getting very popular, and there weren't as many as there are now, but there were some huge ones, some just very influential ones. And so I was subscribed to a few of them, and one gal who, she happened to be writing about eczema that her son or daughter had. I can't remember which one it was at the time. And I knew that my son also had some eczema, but it was very seasonal, not like an extreme case. And our product worked really well for that. So I thought, well, I should just reach out to her and just let her know that there's something for that. So I had I think I commented on one of her posts or reached out to her and said, I have something that might work for that. Can I just send it to you?
Wow.
I appreciate what you do. So let me just send you this.
Wow.
And she really liked it. And then we started having a conversation about having her talk about it on her blog. And so there's a lot of different ways that would work. Obviously, the bloggers work hard, and they do need to make some compensation for their blogs. And so there are different ways. Sometimes you can pay a flat fee, and they are very upfront about the product that they are talking about. And by you pay them, and then they do a whole post. That's called a sponsored post. So they can do a sponsored post on their blog related to what their audience would want to hear and the audience's needs and what your product can do for them. I prefer actually is when we work they work as an affiliate. So I have a special code that goes into their blog, and then whatever sales come through that link, that's what I pay them at the beginning of the next month. So there's different when that's called affiliate marketing. And that's another really good way to advertise your product to bloggers.
Very interesting. And the bloggers, what do they choose more often, or do you not give them a choice? The sponsored post or the affiliate?
It really depends on the blogger. I've gone both routes, and sometimes I will, if they say, no, I really only want to do a flat fee, I'll go that route. And if I realize, wow, I didn't even make enough to cover the cost of what I paid them, I just won't go back to them the next time. So I try, it really depends on the blogger. Everybody's different. And if they see that, wow, that made a lot of money on the affiliate, so they'll come back, and they have to also, it's also just a very balancing game for the blogger too, because they have to balance that. They don't want to do a sales pitch to the readers every time. They're trying to produce really good content, and the readers don't like to be sold to. So they have to give them something that would be something they really want to read and useful for them. So it really depends. I mean, I have just like lost a lot of money because I've done like a $500 sponsored post with someone that didn't even bring a sale in, that's really, so it just depends. And now once you figure out which ones work really well, you just keep it going with the affiliate marketing.
Very interesting. And is that like your primary way to get the word out about your product?
That has been, yeah, that's been another kind of way that we do that is they want to give their readers something. So I go to them and say, how about this month? I give them a free product. They do have to pay shipping because I don't want just everybody trying to get the free product and it's not even something they want. So if they have a little bit of skin in the game where the reader is willing to pay shipping, they get a free product and I can get my product out there. And because ours is kind of a unique product, the blogger will explain what it's for and how it's used. And then the blogger gets, a lot of appreciation from their readers because the readers get something free. They're like, yes, I get something free. And they also get the affiliate, so they get paid from that. And then I get a lot of new customers and subscribers to my email list. So it's been kind of a two-way for me to grow my email list and to get new customers. It's worked out really well that way.
Wow, very interesting. I think that's so smart. So many people don't do that though. Like there's so many handmade moms who have never even thought about that avenue. And so I hope that those who are watching us live, who are listening us post-production, I hope that you will consider going to a new avenue. And I think this is really a really great idea to go to where your audience already is. So I have a question from Nina. If you pay a flat fee, how do you track how many sales come in from that particular blog? And this might be get a little techie, and feel free to share.
Yeah. Okay. There's different ways to do that. If you can give them a discount code. So let's say the blogger is giving their readers like a 15% coupon to your store. And then you know from that coupon code that they came from that store. Mine has gotten a lot more beefier. The other way is Google Analytics. You can check on, with Google Analytics, you can see how people are coming to your site. But that's pretty much, there's ways to track. Even MailChimp actually has something that can connect to your e-commerce store, depending on which e-commerce store you have. So there's different, you can start really small and inexpensively, and then you can build up to more expensive routes to go. But I guess the cheapest route I would suggest is having a discount code that you would give your readers just for that blog.
That's really smart. And then very smart, because I was thinking, you just do like a trackable link, but that's even better because obviously everyone will use the coupon code to get the discount. So now how do you pay the affiliates? Like, is it manual work?
No, thankfully it's not. I have, basically you can pay if you have them all signed up for your store, which my e-commerce, someone's asking which e-commerce store I use. I use Lotion right now, which I really love. And I don't know, I'm trying to figure out, they base it on how many customers or how many visits to see, or they probably have it like a startup versus a business versus whatever. So depending on what you need, they have different price points. So I think they could start easily for under $50 a month, I'm guessing, if you start with Volusion, and that's VOLUSION.com. And they have a whole affiliate program. So they would sign up, the affiliates would sign up for the affiliate program. And I think all but one of my affiliates prefers to get pay through PayPal. So I'll use that mass pay option. So all I have to do is just once a month, I download all of my affiliates and how much I pay out to them. And then I transfer that to a TXT file and then upload it back to mass pay, and then I pay them. So it probably takes me about 20 minutes to pay.
Interesting. Okay, so it's not that long, but it's still not automatic, right?
Right. It's not totally automatic. No. Yeah. And then if they all wanted to be paid like one by check, and I do like one person prefers by check. So that takes a little bit. I just go to my own business checking account, bill pay, and pay her. So that's only one person. So it's not that hard.
Very interesting. I feel like I've been really spoiled with Gumroad, because Gumroad is another selling platform, but it's not as customizable as I would say. What is it called?
Volusion.
Volusion.
Gumroad, do they do physical products, or is it?
Yes, they do. Yes,
they do. Okay.
Yeah. And they're always refreshing their stuff. They're always adding new features. It's pretty amazing, but it's definitely not set up like a shop per se as yours is set up. So that's very interesting, but they do pay affiliates automatically, which is pretty amazing. Like, I don't even have to touch it. Yeah. It's amazing.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Well, okay. Wow. This is all so interesting, Renee. I love that. Okay. So, and Eden and Faith, Renee, Sharon from Eden and Faith Boutique asked we already answered that. Oh, she's asking, are you paying for MailChimp?
Yeah, because of the number of subscribers I have, I've built it up to about 14,000 subscribers. So I'm paying like $150 a month. So that's a big chunk of that. But the subscriber list is so important. You have to have that subscriber list. And that's, thankfully, we've known that somehow we just started that from the beginning. I shouldn't say we've known that, we didn't know that, but we did realize that, yeah, Facebook is not, that was where I have a big following on Facebook, but it doesn't do anything for me. So I don't even spend much time on my Facebook business page like I had in the past, because it hasn't been worth it. But MailChimp, yes. And, I'm trying to figure out what I think with Volusion. Before I did Volusion, that's when I was on Squarespace. And if you really want the cheap route to go, I had Squarespace, and then I had an eJunkie account because I could do the affiliates with eJunkie. So it was like, I could spend probably $50 a month at the very most to run an e-commerce site. And what I love when I moved to Volusion is they do so many automated features for me. So they'll follow up with the customer. Like I can set it for 2 weeks after they've made a purchase to come back and leave a review. I've got thousands and thousands and thousands of reviews on all of our products because of that. I wouldn't have had that. I used to manually, like if someone gave a testimonial, I would put that, as almost like a blog page on my website to say, here's testimonials, go read them. But this is for each product. I've got so many reviews, which is great. And then I can go back and use those reviews as newsletter content or whatever. But Volusion does all that. So they track everything. They connect with my, I use ShipStation to ship products out. So they do updates with the tracking. It's all hands off. So that's why I really like Volusion for myself.
Very interesting. Thank you so much for sharing, because there's a lot of handmade mamas here in the chat, and this is all very valuable information. I'm sure they're sitting there scribbling in their notes, taking notes. And all this, I will be adding all this to show notes. So if you are listening in the car or anywhere you might be driving, scribble. Don't scribble. We will have everything in the show notes. So Renee, you mentioned that you grew your email list to 14,000 subscribers. That's a huge number. How in the world did you get there?
A lot of different ways. Just first, working with bloggers has really helped, because it depends on how I work a campaign with them. Sometimes if it's a big gift that I'm giving, like something that's got a value of $15, I have them go through a lead. It used to be a lead page. I was with lead pages before. So I would use a lead page. That's leadpages.com, I guess, or .net. I forgot what they have. But I would create a lead page where they had to put their email in order to get the gift. So they can always unsubscribe later, but it's kind of like, you should kind of ask a little bit. You're giving them something free, but you do want them to have a little bit of skin in the game. So a lot of it was from that. So if I gave something that was worth $15 or something for free, then I would set up a lead page and have them go through that in order to get their gift. And then just a lot of it is just, I talk to my subscriber list a lot. I've really learned last year that the more emails, they don't see the emails all the time, or they skip over them. And so I have that balance of trying to talk to them and give them good content. I do feel like a half-time blogger. I mean, I'm also shipping products, but so much of what I do now is the writing part. So I'm just putting out content usually at least 2 times a week. Sometimes people hear from me more than that, because I do an automated responder with MailChimp. So I have several emails go out, but just a lot of communication, and then every now and then a giveaway, like I'm doing a giveaway right now. So I'll have a giveaway up, and then one of them could be to share with a friend or whatever. And I don't really expect a whole lot out of that. I really want them to be the right type of customer. So I know people will share it with everybody in their, list or whatever. And then maybe only one person's actually a good target for. So I don't really put a whole lot rely too much on giveaways like that, but it does bring in customers. So, and then I just figure the more I write, the ones who are not interested will drop off. And that will keep my MailChimp, how much I have to pay MailChimp every month can kind of get lowered a little bit. If I have too many people, then I've got to pay more. But I kind of justify how much I'm talking to them, as if they are not interested, they'll drop off. So, and I have to be okay with that, not like worry, oh my goodness, somebody unsubscribed. So it's not that big a deal.
Very, very interesting. It's incredible what you've been sharing with us. So much golden nuggets. So I kind of want to pick your brain a little bit more about the email marketing.
Okay.
So you have what do you mean when you say I have conversations with my list? How do you trigger them to reply to you? Because so many people already know it's a list going to thousands of people, but how do you get them specifically to reply?
Well, one is if I have in my head who I'm talking to, like I picture like a real life friend or something that I'm picturing, okay, I know this person is probably struggling with this. And sometimes it's just like someone who's emailed me and shared their story with me. All of a sudden I've got a story that I can pull from that and send it to my list. Like at Christmas time, I also, part of what I do on my store site is teach. I do a lot of teaching people how to make the products that I sell. And people say, why would you do that? They're going to just go buy the ingredients somewhere else and make it, and they're not going to buy anything from you. But I do, and I know that happens too. It's not a big deal because I get so much content from people that way. They'll come back and say, hey, I made this. And they'll send me pictures of what they made as Christmas presents, shaped lotion bars and how they wrapped it. And I'm like, that was a brilliant way to wrap the lotion bar. And sometimes I'll say, can I use your picture for a newsletter? They always say yes. They don't always want their name associated with it, but they'll always say yes. So whenever I get information from my people that they email and tell me what they're doing, I'll turn that into a newsletter or just an email that I send out. And then I realized, okay, that makes an awesome blog post. That's where I'm trying to do. This is one of those time things for me is to put that, it's already a perfect email. I need to put that into a blog post. And when I say email, I mean, I'm emailing my entire list or a target of my entire list. So when I say I'm emailing out, this is going out to my whole subscriber list. So a lot of content comes from the customers or the people who are writing to me. And I just try to make it like, what would I want to read? And I edit these things to death sometimes. Like I'll send a test to myself and realize, no, I'm not making sense. I always ask my husband to check it. Tell me if you understand what I'm trying to say. Because sometimes I'll just put it out too quickly and my mind is too jumbled because I'm trying to like, oh my goodness, it's 5 p.m. Pacific. That means it's like 8 o'clock on the East Coast. It's too late today to send it out. It's that time element. So I have to really focus and decide, okay, if this email is not ready to go out, I can put it off till tomorrow, and tomorrow I'll be fresh again and I can read it and think, oh, I can make improvements here, here, and here. So I try not to send out junk, I guess is what I'm saying, by rushing through it.
Are you consistent with the days that you send out stuff?
I wish I was. No.
People don't mind. I mean, do your subscribers mind?
I don't think so. I mean, I think every now and then someone will say, hey, can you organize when you're going to have a special deal go so I know not to buy until then? And honestly, that is just, sometimes it depends on if I made too much product and I just want to put a sale. And sometimes it depends on, like for example, we make also a bug block. And so now people are saying, when is your bug block going to be back in stock? Usually I don't do that till March. And I'm deciding, you know what? I've had like 5 emails in the last week, people asking me, when is your bug block? So then I would all of a sudden decide, let's just make it and sell it now because people are asking. So I'm not consistent. I do though, I try to write a list of all the different topics so that I know this is available. If I'm having some writer's block, I'm trying to do one thing and it's not working out, I can go to my list. I'm like, oh yeah, I was going to write about that. I forgot about that. And I can do that.
I love that. I love writing based on how you're feeling because, same thing with me. Like I have all these things that I want to write about, but then like, okay, going down the list and like, okay, what do I feel like writing about? So that's really helpful. So, Sharon totally read my mind and posted a question in the chat. Does anyone have an idea of what time is the best time to send out emails like that? I understand things like that vary from industry to industry, but I just want to hear what you have to say, Renee, based on what you've experienced.
Okay, for my niche, which mine is probably going to be a lot of the people listening. So because I've always advertised mostly with mom bloggers who have kids in the house. That's like my perfect, so I've had plenty of, moms who work outside the home too. I'm just thinking, okay, who's home? And because of that, I'm noticing Saturdays and Sundays, I don't usually get too much. Well, I personally, actually, I should say, I just don't do Sunday. I just keep that day as a total day off. So I don't even schedule a post to go out on a Sunday. I keep that off. So Sunday might be a beautiful day to do it, but I just, for our family and it's church day for us, so I totally don't do anything going on Sundays. But Saturday seems to be a hard one to reach people. And I want to say that Mondays are also kind of hard. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday seem to be better. Friday, people are like not home. I feel like people are, at least they're on in their own world. If I'm trying to do something by Friday night, I'm better off Saturday morning than Friday night. That's just the sense that I'm getting. Now, MailChimp does have something, and maybe I know you're using ConvertKit, right? Vicky, I think you've got ConvertKit.
Yes, I have ConvertKit.
I don't know if ConvertKit
and I love
this. Oh yeah, I know you love it. I know MailChimp does. They will look at all of your past emails and then decide based on that when the best time to post is. So that's really nice. I haven't used it though. I have to say that I know it's there. I haven't really used it.
Okay. So, that's very interesting. Yeah, I used to be with MailChimp and I switched to ConvertKit, but I remember it's kind of like whenever you think the best time is, kind of like with Hootsuite auto schedule. Just post it whenever you feel like it's a good time. It's a great option, but I also think it's really awesome that you shared with us your little observations from your list, which
not
is really
at all
helpful.
Tested or anything. That's just what it seems to be. Yeah.
Very interesting. So Bear Paw Creek just joined us. Welcome. And yes, Renee does make her own products. And you can also watch the replay in just a little bit when we're done recording. Mike says, great show. You are covering so much ground. And Mike is a dad in the house. So welcome, Mike. It's so good to have you. And I'm so happy that you're getting value out of this. Renee is an incredible woman and she is so full of kindness and love. I know it's kind of, woo-woo stuff, but really, and I love that you're just sharing everything, just spilling the beans, everything. So I really appreciate that, Renee. So we're getting close to our time here, and I wish I could just sit here and talk to you forever. But I do want to touch upon how you manage family life and you're homeschooling your children, and how do you manage everything between business and being a wife? Please share it with us.
Well, I think I would say that, we've been in business since 2009. And yes, we would probably be so much further even in what we do if we had given up on certain things that were important for us and not, and basically sacrificed more family in order to grow our business. We would totally have been further than we are now. But we have, I feel like, our kids are so stable and they are so involved and they have learned so much from our business that by keeping them at home, keeping them focused on what we're doing has really, really, has paid off in a million different ways. So we have always taken the needs of our kids and our whole family life. We've just put that first because we have to keep that grounded. If we decided, it's always been important to our family to homeschool. So, but we could have gotten 10 times more done if they weren't at home, obviously, just distractions and stuff like that. And we could have outsourced the kid education part of it. For us, though, that was so much more important. So that's kind of where my husband comes in. And because he took over more of the homeschooling, and we tried so hard when he first got laid off. It was really, really hard. We tried this guy who has been a big important asset for a company like HP is now a stay-at-home dad. That's kind of humiliating for a dad to have a position, and then now he's doing this. And so we tried to work so many different ways. He could take over chatting with the bloggers. He could take over this. He could take over that. And I said, what is best, because our kids were getting older, is if you can get the homeschooling down. He saw so many holes in the way I was doing the homeschooling that he filled. And he has taken off where he started his own business with that in coaching people on how to homeschool in a talent-based approach. So each of our kids is extremely good at different things, and it's really helped us out. And our older kids have already started their own businesses. So because we had to do this real switch in the way we were running our family, it has benefited us way more than we've ever expected. And so he's got, we just graduated our oldest from high school last year. And so our oldest is obviously still living at home, but he's got his own business that he's running. He was a huge part of running our business for a long time. And then we realized, as much as I didn't want him to have to go, kind of like leave our business, he's still part of it, of course. He does a lot of the errands for us, but he had to take off in his business. And so I thought, okay, it's time to train the next one in line. So we've had a lot of training going on, and the kids are doing an awesome job. Not all of them are involved, but just the older ones who are helping out. And then they have their own things that they're really good at. So they do that with their own talents, and they're taking off with it. So it's just, in so many ways, running a family business has really, really helped us.
Wow, that's so amazing. So, of course, I pretty much almost knew everything that you just shared, but every time you say that, it inspires me so much. And I'm always so intrigued the way you are able to literally juggle everything. It's incredible. And your kids are so well behaved, and they're so sweet. And it was so nice. For those of you who don't know, my husband and I drove down to Cottonwood, California to visit Renee and her sweet family. And that was such a great treat, because meeting you guys, or your husband and your kids, was awesome. So you really are walking the talk. And I couldn't just be more happier to have you on, Renee.
No, thanks. Well, it's not always perfect, but that's where we're here. That's the best thing about being here, to fix things that are broken. We're just constantly fixing things. So, and you asked about juggling. It is a juggle. In fact, we kind of gather as a family by 8 a.m. So everybody's got to get their chores done. They got to have breakfast done. Everything's done by 8 a.m. And we're flexible. I mean, if the kids had a late night or an exciting day the day before, if we push it to 9, we are so flexible with that. But in the ideal world, everybody's down there by 8. And then we do some Bible time. And then at the end of that, it's like, okay, Mom, what do you need to have done? And then I kind of go through okay, I need you to do this, you to do this, you to do that. And, so this was obviously a different day, because being on the phone with you, you guys have got to leave the house. So the older kids are downstairs doing their work, but my husband took the older ones out, and it works out great, because we have that flexibility, and we don't have a lot scheduled on in our days. And it works out really nicely.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing, Renee. And thank you so much for coming on.
That was fun. It's always fun talking to you.
I hope you enjoyed our conversation. Please join us live every single Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Join our lively conversation with other mompreneurs. My name is Vicky, and thank you so much for watching the Mompreneur Show, where we have amazing conversations with the most remarkable mompreneurs. I'll see you next time.